terrified. I got to where I was like scared for my life.
Wildfire flames threaten homes in Utah.
I know that we had angels in our neighborhood last night.
Caught on camera, the dramatic rescue of a hiker trapped behind a waterfall for 2 days.
The water was so forceful that he couldn't swim out of it.
And the rare sighting of an orca off the coast of New England.
Phenomenal, amazing, bucket list type of thing that you'd want to see in your life.
From our nation's capital, this is the National Weather Desk.
Morning and welcome to the National Weather Desk. I'm Angela Brown. We are now just hours away from the first hurricane forming in the Atlantic so far this year. Tropical Storm Aaron's winds are now just shy of hurricane strength. Tropical storm watches are posted already this morning. It's still unclear exactly how much the storm will strengthen over the next week. Meteorologist Lauren Oleski is tracking Aaron this morning.
Still monitoring the tropics. Been a little busier over the past couple of weeks compared to the beginning of the season. We'll get to Aaron in a second. We've got Invest 98L showing a little bit more organization over the last day or so. Now with a 50% development chance through the next 2 to 7 days. Hurricane hunters are expected to go out there and investigate this area this morning. This actually could become a short-lived depression before it moves inland over northern Mexico or southern Texas there. No threat to us. Regardless, this is just going to produce some very heavy rainfall for that area. We'll monitor it and see if it gets numbered, but again, no threat to Florida. And then we've got Tropical Storm Aaron still at tropical storm status. Winds are at 70 miles per hour right now. Moving off towards the northwest, we do expect this to become our first hurricane of the season, likely later today, and then continue strengthening, eventually curving north, maybe becoming a Cat 3 sometime late this weekend or early next week. We do expect Aaron to also stay well to our east, so no direct threats from this storm. However, we're likely going to deal with some rougher surf and maybe an increased risk of rip currents.
And when it comes to knowing where hurricane impacts will be felt, we use something called the forecast cone. Meteorologist David Boyd explains how it works.
First, the National Hurricane Center starts with points where they think the tropical system will be out to 120 hours. Then circles are drawn, and the size of the circle depends on the average forecast error over the past 5 years. So the 24-hour forecast has an average error of 39 miles. By 120 hours, the average is 213 miles. Then the cone is created based on all of those circles. But it's important to keep in mind that while in a perfect forecast, the center of the tropical system would go right down the middle of the cone, it's very possible that the center could go down the east side of the cone or the west side of the cone. Either way, even if it goes down the middle, there will be impacts from the system outside of the forecast cone. For the National Weather Desk, I'm meteorologist David Boyd.
And more than 56 million people face heat alerts today. The impacted area stretches from the plains all the way to South Florida. In many cities, it will feel like 110 degrees. To the north, there's a threat of severe storms. Folks in the Twin Cities and surrounding area could see scattered severe thunderstorms later today. Now, people in southeastern Tennessee are sharing their survival stories days after historic flooding in Chattanooga. 4 people died in the storm, including a family of 3. The water flooded highways, homes, and businesses. But now that the water is receding, we are hearing from those who came face to face with the flood. We have 2 reports, starting with Mary Beth Mangrum.
Right as I got to the end of the carport, it came crashing down. So there was quite a current already when it fell.
Residents on Maxwell Road in Eastridge tell us the water rose quickly and unlike anything they had seen before. Anita Stevens tells us that during that flooding, the water reached up to here on her mailbox.
Never felt in danger, but after hearing the swiftness of a flood, I probably should have been, because it was almost to my waist.
And with such little time,
I guess when the creeks overflowed, it started coming very quickly where there was a current. And it got deep very quickly.
There's no warning that we can give residents. The only thing that we in emergency management can do is just to notify the general public of the potential for flash flooding.
As floodwaters sweep through our area once more, Maxwell says their office used an AI mapping tool to find which areas would have been hit the hardest under nearly 7 inches of rainfall.
I was terrified. Yeah, I got to where I was like scared for my life.
Yvette Hughes was headed home from work when the interstate filled with floodwaters.
Here you go, rushing waters. Yeah, all of a sudden we're floating.
The Chattanooga Police Department shared this video of officers helping people off the interstate as waters rose.
Then I started seeing other people getting out of their cars, and a guy stopped by my car. He said, "You need to get to higher land. You need to get to higher land right now."
In this picture, you can see an officer leading Hughes to safety.
And multiple wildfires are still burning across the West this morning, including several in Utah. This is the Beulah fire, which has burned 4,300 acres with no containment. Steep terrain is making it difficult to fight those flames. Some people living nearby have been told to prepare to evacuate. Last night, residents near another fire were finally allowed to return to their homes. Brian Will has more from the Willard fire in North Ogden.
Images and video from the Weber County Sheriff's Office shows how close flames got to these homes.
And I saw the fire started, and it scared me.
We're really happy that it didn't go any further than it already did.
Chelsea Fuller's childhood home was in the evacuation zone. On Thursday, they returned home to check on her neighborhood.
I played up in those hills, and I just can't believe that was my childhood burning up. So
Fuller's home was spared any damage as the fire moved across the mountain on Thursday.
Most of the fire we're seeing is on the northern and southern flanks, where there's a little bit heavier fuels and vegetation, where the brush is thicker and that heat is sticking in those fuels.
Nearly 200 crews are battling the blaze in 12-hour shifts.
We have no reports of damaged structures or destroyed. It did burn right up to the home, so as they get insurance inspectors in there, there may be some more, but none visible that we know of.
These neighbors breathing a sigh of relief as they return home still on edge.
I know that we had angels in our neighborhood last night.
A California man is alive and doing well after being trapped behind a powerful waterfall for nearly 2 days. The local sheriff's office says it's a dangerous spot that has led to many calls for help. Brianda Lemus has more on the daring rescue that was caught on camera.
There's no escape unless you have a rope or professional training and experience to navigate this terrain.
On Sunday evening, 46-year-old Ryan Wardwell of Long Beach set out to rappel the Seven Teacups waterfall along the Kern River. 4 members of his group decided the terrain was too dangerous and turned back, but Wardwell kept going. Captain Kevin Kummerling with the Tulare County Emergency Services says the reason why this area is called Teacups is because the waterfall forms rock pools, each one requiring climbers to use ropes and equipment to rappel into or climb out of.
So when people get into these waterfalls, they create hydraulics, which are essentially drowning machines. And the last teacup that he had entered is about a 25-foot waterfall. He rappelled into it, but the water was so forceful that he couldn't swim out of it.
The sheriff's search and rescue team got the call Monday about Wardwell being trapped. By Tuesday morning, a drone spotted Wardwell alive, but stuck behind that 25-foot waterfall.
We were comfortable putting rescuers in there, but we felt that it was safest to do it with a helicopter, so we used a hoist operation, brought that helicopter in, lowered rescuers in there.
Wardwell was pulled to safety, flown to a nearby landing zone, and treated for dehydration and mild hypothermia. Despite having no wetsuit or floating device, he survived nearly 3 days in the frigid Sierra Nevada waters, a survival the captain calls remarkable.
We were very thankful that he was alive. We weren't expecting him to be alive. We were expecting it to be a recovery based on the exposure that he would have been subjected to with the cold water.
A new study warns climate change could make satellites more vulnerable to solar storms threatening everything from GPS to internet service. Researchers say rising carbon dioxide in the upper atmosphere is making the air thinner. That means when powerful solar storms hit, the sudden spikes in atmospheric density could be even greater than they are today. And coming up on the National Weather Desk, we'll find out why great white sharks are showing up along the coast of Maine. And we'll head to West Virginia to learn about Ice Mountain, the coldest place in the state during the summer months. I'm sorry.
I'm meteorologist Charlie Lopresti with a look at the Northeast. We have a beautiful Friday on tap here with temps running in the 70s and 80s. The key to today's forecast is we have lower humidity arriving in the Northeast today. So let's break it down for you. Notice a lot of sunshine and also notice the lack of clouds, the lack of showers. It's going to be a nice end of the work week. That's about 3 o'clock in the afternoon. Now, as we go into Saturday, expect a lot of sun that day. 70s and low 80s will do it. Our greatest chance for a thunderstorm this weekend will be late on Sunday.
I'm Chief Meteorologist Gerard DeBailey. Here's a look at the Mid-Atlantic region. This cold front that's lingering behind will still kind of give us a chance for a shower thunderstorm as we move through Friday afternoon. A few will be around, but not likely to be completely widespread with those showers and storms. Again, tapering as we move through the evening. Saturday looks a little bit drier, but still stray shower storm possible. Temperatures still staying very warm and still a bit humid. Low 90s along the coastline, 80s in the mountains. We'll see that again as we head into Saturday.
I'm Chief Meteorologist Vitas Reed. Looking at your southeast forecast highs for the day: 94 in Nashville, 89 in Raleigh, 92 Atlanta, Pensacola about 90 degrees, Tampa 95. It looks like we'll see a day starting off with plenty of sunshine across the I-95 corridor, looking as we go over towards Atlanta, Birmingham, Jacksonville. But as we continue to look through the afternoon, beyond 3 o'clock, you're getting pop-up showers and thunderstorms widely scattered across the southeast. As the evening settles, we'll have a little more activity south of Atlanta.
You are watching the National Weather Desk.
Killer whale sightings are very common in the Pacific Northwest. They are extremely rare in New England. That's why 2 fishermen were stunned to recently see an orca off the Massachusetts coast. Abby Bedicavoli has the story.
Oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God.
A rare sight on the water.
That's a killer whale right there.
Even for seasoned fishermen. So majestic, so close, Donna Pereno couldn't believe it was happening.
Life-changing, phenomenal, amazing, bucket list type of thing that you'd want to see in your life, especially when you're out on the water as much as we are.
She and her husband are commercial fishermen. They were looking for bluefin tuna Sunday afternoon on Stellwagen Bank, a popular feeding ground, when a pod of dolphins caught their eye. And then they saw the giant dorsal fin.
I said, oh my God, I think it's an orca.
About 6 feet of fin and longer than their 27-foot boat. This is a familiar orca to New England waters. His name, Old Tom.
It seems like Old Tom is seen almost every year in kind of like the greater New England area, which is really interesting.
Biologists confirm it's him based on markings and the fact that he's hanging with dolphins, not other orcas.
It's a big deal, and I think it's because it's so rare, but it happens often enough that it's really all about timing of whether you're in the right place at the right time.
Donna, one of the lucky ones, is sharing her tale, even if she's short on the words to describe it.
It's a feeling you feel when something absolutely amazing happens to you, and it's a good thing. We need more good things in life.
And orcas are not the only thing lurking off the coast of New England. In Maine, officials are warning beachgoers about a potential great white shark sighting. Julia Simon has the story.
Shark sightings are becoming more common because the waters here in Maine are getting warmer. On Monday, drone video captured a shark which is believed to be a great white, about 10 to 12 feet long, near Richmond Island, Higgins, and Scarborough Beach. Another shark, possibly the same one, was then spotted again near Pine Point Beach yesterday. Matt Davis is a scientist with Maine's Department of Marine Resources. He says federal regulations were put in place in the 90s against hunting white sharks, and we're seeing the population growing now as a result. He says shark sightings tend to happen a lot in a place like Cape Cod because the seal population is concentrated in one area. But here in Maine, the coastline is so varied that seals aren't in one place, so sharks aren't either. A reason why the sightings over the years have happened along different portions of Maine's coast. He also says the warming waters in Maine are something sharks are warming up to.
We're going to see that band of thermal temperature preference start to move poleward too. And so when it comes to white shark distribution, they're not really being seen anywhere that they historically haven't been seen before. But what might happen is as oceans warm, you might see sharks hang around a little bit longer into the winter or the fall.
And as you can see here behind me, off that point in the distance is Richmond Island. And here on Higgins Beach, Scarborough police are asking people to be aware when getting into the water.
And if you're looking to escape the heat, you should head to West Virginia's Ice Mountain. It's not the tallest mountain in West Virginia, not even close, but in the summer, it produces the coldest air in the state. Meteorologist Brandon Stover explains why.
Ice Mountain refers to the geologic feature found on the mountain where we have a large talus slope. The talus is a bunch of rock that has fell down over the geologic time period, and it collects cold air in that deep talus that's slowly released throughout the year, including during the summer. You can feel quite a dramatic effect of that ice coming out of the vents.
Most talus slopes in the Appalachians have crevices that are about 6 to 8 feet deep, but the ones here at Ice Mountain are up to 60 feet. This means cold air during the winter gets trapped deep in the rocks.
Cold air sinks. There's a huge volume of air in the rubble of the talus slope. It sinks out the bottom, but it never rises up because cold air doesn't rise.
So out here we have 78 degrees here in the vent. 52.
The settlers that lived here, they knew of that refrigeration type effect associated with those ice vents, so they would use it to, that was before electricity, before refrigeration. There's also talks of church socials going out and harvesting the ice to make ice cream.
Ice in the middle of summer was really common in the 1800s. I know there was still ice here in early June because of some docents who took some pictures and sent it to me.
Due to the colder environment, some unique plants and animals, more commonly found in New England and Canada, live on Ice Mountain.
And it's not just caves that can be cooler during a hot summer day. Different surfaces can be at vastly different temperatures. It's due to something called albedo. Meteorologist Lana Foss explains on Instagram in a segment she calls 30-Second Weather Dictionary.
During a hot day, why is it easier to walk barefoot in the grass rather than on the asphalt, or sit in a light interior car versus a dark interior car? That all comes down to albedo, which is how much a surface can reflect the sunlight. Take a look here. You can kind of see the grass here is going to be around 83 degrees, but as we head it down to the asphalt, it can get up to 93. So that means the grass is reflecting more sunlight. So just know when you're walking barefoot on the asphalt and it's starting to burn, that's albedo.
And when it comes to trusted sources for weather information, there is one man that stands out. He's been the trusted voice of extreme weather for nearly 40 years. This week on our podcast, Off the Radar, meteorologist Emily Gracie is sitting down with the legendary Jim Cantore to hear about how he got his start in weather. Here's a preview of that episode.
For nearly 40 years, he's been the face of extreme weather. This week I'm going off the radar with the legendary Jim Cantore to explore the remarkable journey of America's most trusted storm chaser. We'll trace his career from the very beginning.
My brother comes up and goes, "Hey, Jim, the Weather Channel called. They want you to come interview." I was like, "Oh, no kidding. We just got them on cable."
To becoming the voice millions depend on when evacuation orders ring out across coastal communities.
If you're going to tell me that I have to tell these people to leave, at least I could stand out there and show them why I asked them to leave.
You'll hear the untold stories behind those viral moments. But Jim opens up about something deeper, the personal storms he's weathered away from the cameras.
It's kind of the never-ending storm, man. A lot of times we go to these big hurricanes and big winter storms and the sun comes out and you start the cleanup process.
And the quiet moments of reflection between the chaos.
That's the card you're dealt. That's the mission that God gave you, and I'm going to take it. and I'm going to do the best I can. I'm going to succeed, I'm going to fail. I'm going to succeed, and I'm going to fail. And that's kind of the way life goes.
Join us as we explore not just the meteorologist, but the man behind the legend and what lies ahead for one of television's most enduring figures.
2 words, Em, mission accomplished.
And you can find Off the Radar anywhere you get your podcasts. New episodes drop every Tuesday. And time now for a short break. But first, we take to the skies over the Carolina coast.
Happy Friday, everyone. We almost have made it to the weekend. The story is still going to be the heat and humidity for much of the Midwest and Central Plains over into the Ohio Valley. Temperatures into the mid to upper 90s. 98 in Wichita for your Saturday. Do have a chance of some showers with a cold front through the upper Great Lakes as we get into Saturday and Sunday. Mid 70s for highs by the end of the weekend.
Good Friday morning. I'm meteorologist Joe DiCarlo. Look at your forecast across the region. We're keeping our eyes on Invest 98L. There is a chance it becomes a tropical depression as it moves to the north towards the Texas coast. It will bring some tropical moisture into the Lone Star State and for parts of Louisiana as well in the days ahead. So this morning, pretty quiet. We will see that increased moisture and showers and thunderstorms near the coast as we head into the afternoon. This moves further inland as we head into your weekend.
Well, hi there, everybody, and TGIF. I'm meteorologist Shannon O'Donnell. Out west, we still have quite a bit of heat hanging on in the southern deserts. 103, though, sounds like sweet relief after such a hot summer out of Phoenix. The PNW, on the other hand, cool and rainy and blustery, big atmospheric river pushing into Puget Sound and the Willamette Valley, making for 2 to 3 inches of rain in parts of the North Cascades as we head into the weekend. And that's the scene from here.
You are watching the National Weather Desk.
It's been nearly 1 year since Hurricane Helene caused widespread damage across western North Carolina. And as Eliza Skipper shows us, the cleanup efforts are still in full swing.
Reporters rode along with NCDOT engineers to see repair sites firsthand. Division 13, which covers 8 mountain counties, has completed dozens of recovery projects to prevent future washouts. The work is funded through a combination of state disaster dollars and federal programs. In this division alone, the damage is estimated at $2.5 billion, including the replacement of 93 bridges and miles of roadway.
We're kind of getting to the point now where we're kind of coming to grips with it a little better, and now we're seeing the progress both with the roadways and seeing homes being built back, seeing businesses being built back. That gives you that feeling of hope again. Gives you that feeling that we are improving. We are going the right direction.
NCDOT says that some of these repairs are going to take months to even years to finally complete. They say that many of these repairs are about building back better.
We love to share your weather content on the air. You can find us on your favorite social media platforms. Just search the National Weather Desk. We'll be right back. And thank you so much for joining us. I'm Angela Brown. Make it a great Friday. Have a wonderful weekend, and I'll see you right back here on Monday.